Let me now review everything that you will learn if you complete all of the movies that constitute this tutorial on Director 11. The tutorial begins with an overview of the application windows, panels, and other workspaces, including the stage, the score, cast window, control panel, properties, inspectors, and much, much more. Next, I cover how to create and edit bitmap and vector shape cast members, like you see here, and how to select these sprites and modify their properties and appearances using the property inspector and the ink setting. Notice that I can change the colors and much, much more about this sprite. Next, animation techniques are covered, including frame by frame, path tweening, film loops, step recording, and real-time animation, like I have here. Let's rewind that and play it again. This is a real-time animation technique. This is followed by 3 movies on how Director works with color and how Director controls tempo and sprite transitions. Here's a good example of the kind of transitions that you can set up in Director. Information about working with audio and video is covered next. Including how to import audio and video clips, setting cast member properties, and controlling audio in the score, as well as information about shockwave audio, playing digital video direct to stage and using Windows Media, Real Media, and even DVD media. You'll also learn how to use Flash content in your Director movies. I have an example of some Flash content playing right here. Let's add some script to this, which you will also learn after you learn about Flash content. There's some Flash content that played there. You'll also learn about behaviors, so you can add drag and drop interactivity to your Director projects. Here's a 3D object that I'm zooming into and out of using behaviors. You can see the Director also works very well with 3D content. This is 3D content that I've created in one of the exercises in the movie. You'll learn how to create this 3D content and then manipulate it, like I'm doing here with 3D behaviors. Zooming out, zooming in, spinning and rotating it. I'm controlling this with my mouse, so you'll do this with one of the behaviors that I show you. Section of 6 movies covering Director scripting is included. This includes movies on Director scripting essentials, scripting terminology, and syntax tips. This section concludes with a demonstration of some basic but useful lingo scripts, such as the one that I just demonstrated for keeping the playback head in a single frame so the user can manipulate content in that frame. Movies about working with 3D content and opening and closing movies in a window are next. Here's an example of one Director movie playing inside of another Director movie, and you'll learn how to control the movie in a window from the parent movie and vice versa. Notice that I'm going to close that window using the close window button, so you'll learn how these 2 movies can communicate with each other. The last section of the tutorial includes movies on how to plan your Director projects to avoid problems. Also how to preview your movies in a browser, like I'm doing here. I'm just previewing the movie I just showed you in Director. This is the playback here in the browser. Notice it also has some interactive Flash content built into it. You'll learn all about doing this in that last section of the tutorial. You'll also learn how to create shockwave content for web delivery and about how and when Director streams media, and this section concludes with the important settings here in the Publish Settings dialog. This is quite a complex dialog, so I review each of those settings so you can make sure you distribute your Director movies in the best possible way. And the tutorial concludes with how to work with Director Extra extensions, which are extensions that extend the capabilities of Director. Now, if you've used an older version of Director, Director 8 or Director MX04, you'll find that there's quite a number of new features in Director 11, including Unicode support. There's a new text engine. You can now apply bitmap filters to adjust color, drop shadows, bevels, gradient glows, and much, much more. So let me review in detail some of the more exciting new features in Director 11 in the next movie.